You're just a kid, Gordy.
Oh, gee, thanks, Dad.
Wish the hell I was your dad. You wouldn't be going around talking about taking these stupid shop courses if I was. It's like God gave you something, man. All those stories that you can make up. And he said, this is what we got for you, kid. Try not to lose it. But kids lose everything unless there's someone there to look out for them. And if your parents are too fucked up to do it, then maybe I should.
The coming of age, puberty, nostalgia, freedom, and friendship. In the past, coming-of-age films have been explored through children. We watch as they break out their shells and sometimes grow new ones. Films like Stand By Me, Little Miss Sunshine, Boyhood, and Moonrise Kingdom all focus on the innocence of childhood and the process of learning that the world might be tougher than they thought. These films feel warm, wholesome, and delicate, but it seems it's time for the genre to mature as its narratives have. Coming-of-age films have evolved into heartbreakingly realistic works that are changing what the genre means. Does it only apply to those approaching puberty, or can it apply to the second round of maturity in your 20s, the puberty we rarely talk about? How do recent films explore the trigger of maturity, and how does age affect it? What defines the coming of age? I believe that the coming of age no longer belongs to the youth. We are now seeing a rise in films that explore the transition to adulthood. Films such as The Worst Person in the World and Frances Ha should be considered as coming of age films. They might not be the same age range as what the genre represents, but at its core, these films talk about the maturity of one person, and isn't that what the genre is really about? They discuss how these protagonists come to terms with their mistakes and their history, and how they evolve beyond them. It depicts how this changes who they are and their new perspective. But these protagonists aren't 10, 14, or any other younger ages. Some are married, some work full-time, some have all the by-the-book descriptions of what an adult is, and yet none of them have the emotional or mental state to believe that they are ready to be one. It engulfs you in the lost in your 20s genre, the silent second puberty. It's all about identity, uncomfortability, and grief.
And I got temporarily fired.
I've been fired like a million times. Makes you cool.
Yeah, but if I don't have the Christmas show, I can't pay rent.
You want to hear something hilarious?
Yes.
Lev thinks we're gonna end up married.
I'm too tall to marry.
You are.
I guess we are like a married couple in a way. We talk, we don't have sex.
Yeah, we get along super well.
Past Lives, The Farewell, Lady Bird, Shiva Baby, Passages, and Manchester by the Sea all follow this concept. Even the hit series Fleabag does this. You even have films discussing this idea in a surrealistic or metaphorical sense. The Daniel's Swiss Army Man explores finding who you are through a dead body played by Daniel Radcliffe, who is forced to relearn how to be human and is manipulated throughout the whole film by Paul Dano's character. This manipulation might even be interpreted as the false reality that grown-ups have told us about adulthood. Major 2021 horror hit Titane also surrealistically explores identity change and the two sides of adulthood. One, a desperate desire to make sense of past trauma. The other, focused solely on survival. Audiences crave these narratives because they feel seen by them. That's why it's such a major theme in most films released now, which is why films like The Graduate and Breakfast at Tiffany's are such classics, because these are the films that predicted the genre switch. The shift has redefined what age and coming of age means, and not only have they taken over the genre, but also cinema as a whole. Then you have the other side of it. It stays true to what coming of age meant back then, highlighting children and their growth. But what changes are the triggers that spark that growth and how they process it. These films used to be about chasing adventure, finding freedom, and making the good things last. They were wholesome films. But now these films are all about the children being forced into maturity because of their trauma. It's about growing up too soon and being forced to understand things only adults understand. Films like Wells' major debut After Sun do just this, alongside other films like Mills' Come On, Come On, and the underrated Belgian film Close. These films rarely highlight the light and beauty of being young. Rather, it focuses on the trauma building up in younger kids. The films have gone somber and profound. They talk about innocence being stolen or the rapid pressure to grow up. But despite the darker underlying themes, these films still maintain the look of a coming-of-age film. Sean Baker's transformative The Florida Project uses bright production design and highly saturated color grading to convey how Mooney, the protagonist, sees the world. This is juxtaposed by the grim reality of her living situation. Jonah Hill's debut feature film Mid-90s represents how children understand and process power dynamics. The script highlights the older kids as powerful and influential. The dialogue shows why validation from them is so significant at that age. Dolan's heart-wrenching Mommy uses a square aspect ratio to depict how Steve perceives his life, restricted and claustrophobic. There were very few classic coming-of-age films that predicted this. Truffaut's magnum opus The 400 Blows or Loach's English classic Kess definitely fall under this category of being far ahead of their time. These recent films deviate from what coming-of-age films used to feel like. They stay true to telling the story from a child's perspective, but without sugarcoating. It is raw and frightfully truthful. There could be many reasons for this genre switch. It is possibly due to society's recent rise in the acknowledgement of mental illness and trauma. And maybe these films are cinema's way of being part of people's healing processes. You could say that children have become more aware and crave realistic media. But I'd argue that although some of these films might be about children, they aren't suitable for them. Regardless of the reason, I welcome each change in genre and cinema with open arms. We are meant to evolve while we respect the past. While every genre has been established and every story has been told, I believe this is proof that there are still ways to reinvent and rediscover films. And I think this new era shows us that we are far from the end of what this genre or cinema has to offer.